In this lesson, we're going to look a little more at processing lists with for loops. Let's open up a new program. We'll call it forlist.py. And let's begin by creating a list of the first 10 integers. So there's our list. Then to refresh your memory, to access each element in the list, I simply create a variable and say for that variable in the list, and then perform some sort of task on that element. In this case, we just want to print. So this will print 1 to align each number in the list. So let's save the program, go back to our command line, and run it. And there's our list of the first 10 integers. Besides the standard way that we use the for loop, we can also use the for loop with the index, or by indexing into the list. So for example, let me demonstrate what indexing means, in case you're not familiar with the term. Number sub 0 will give me access to the first element of the list, 1, because we start counting at the 0 element. So if I want to access each element 0 through 9, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for I in range 0 length of numbers, like so, print numbers sub I. So let's see how this program works. Save it, go back to our DOS prompt, clear the screen, run it again, and we get the same result. Now, one thing you might want to do when you're working with a list of elements is access some partial set of the complete list. For example, what if I want to display all of the odd elements in the list? Well, I can't do it using the standard for loop, but I can do it using the indexing version that we're looking at here. In fact, all I have to do is add one more element to my range function, and that's an increment to say go from 0 to 1 to 2, then 3 to 4. In other words, skip an element each time. So let me demonstrate for you how that works. Save this file, come back to our command line, clear the screen, and there's 13579. So we could do that at any increment that we wanted to. So for example, I could do it to 3, save the file, run it again, and there's 1, 4, 7, and 10. So it's important to understand that even though the primary use of a for loop is to access each element in a sequence, it's not necessary to do so. And if we want to modify that process, what we have to do is we have to specify some type of range, because range provides us with a set we can iterate over, and then index into the sequence to access the elements in the range that we've specified. In the exercises a bit later in the chapter, we're going to demonstrate a more practical use of this technique. But for now, I'd like to move on to the next lesson where we're going to demonstrate how to use for loops with tuples.